Hello loves, and welcome back to Life with CheKesha, and happy 2022. So in today's video, you already know what it is. It is what? Winedown Wednesday. So if you want to see what today's wine is, keep watching. Alright you guys, so before we get into today's video, I'm so excited. This is the first Winedown Wednesday video of 2022. But if this is your first time tuning in, do me a big favor and go ahead and drop me a wine glass if you are new to Winedown Wednesday, and as well if you are new to the channel. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you do me a big favor and click that subscribe button and that notification bell. Alright, so disclaimer. I really wanted to give y'all something a little bit different for the first Winedown Wednesday video, but we had a snowstorm and it was ice, and your girl does not ride in the snow or ice, so I was not able to get the wine that I wanted to share with you all today, but I will get it on next week. I'm going to do something totally different. How can I say this? It's definitely not going to be a red, and it's definitely not going to be an acidic wine. So you kind of think about it. If you are a wine enthusiast like I am, you probably kind of have an idea of what that wine is going to be. And I'm a little bit nervous because my palate has grown out of that taste. But because I love you guys, I'm going to share it with you. So let's go ahead and get into today's wine. All right, so today's wine is a Sauvignon Blanc, in which I tried one that I actually loved back at the launch of Just Like That with Sex and the City. So this will be my second one, and I did do a mini tasting, so I think I'm gonna like this. But this is a Sauvignon Blanc. The maker is King Maui, and this is from the Melbourne region. So this is a white grape, of course, and Sauvignon Blanc is the varietal. So basically what a varietal is just the type of grape. So you have Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet, you have some of them that they're mixed. Sometimes you'll get a red blend that'll have Cabernet Sauvignon varietal, a Pinot Noir varietal, as well as a Merlot varietal. So each one of those are a type of grape. And on the white grapes you have Pinot Grigio grape, Sauvignon Blanc grape, Riesling grape, and Chardonnay. So you have a whole lot of different kind of grapes that make wine. It just ain't a red grape or a green grape that you're getting out of, you know, your local grocery store and you taste. And these grapes, they come with a punch. So let's talk about this particular variety. So this is a actual newer harvested grape. This was harvested in 2021, and so when you see the year next to the grape, it does not mean that that's the age. So this is not a 1-year-old grape. The grape could have been produced back in 2019, but they decided that they wanted to pick it and bottle it in 2021. So that's just a little tip for you all, because I know sometimes like, oh, this is a 2021, ain't good. It has nothing to do with how old the grape is. It's different ways that you can tell. Sometimes by holding the glass, and you can see like the meniscus or the halo. Those are normally indications whether it's a new grape or old grape. And you can do your research by Googling up the winemaker and seeing how old the grape was when they decided to harvest it and put it in the bottle. All right, so a little bit about Cabernet, not Cabernet. I drank so much Cabernet, that's why I keep saying it, okay? So one thing about Sauvignon Blanc is that it is more of a grape that gives you a little pucker. So it does have a little higher acidity to it, but depending on where the wine was grown and when the grape was picked and how old the grape was, all those things, and as well as other notes that they add to it, will change the flavor up a little bit. So the tasting notes on here, they don't really have a lot of tasting notes. It just basically says that it's a bold wine, and it is crisp, and it has a mouth-watering finish. In my opinion, when I try wines that say mouth-watering, that means that it has a little acidity, which makes it a little tart, or give you that little pucker at the back on the finish. So we're going to go ahead and open this up and see what it tastes like. All right, so as you can see, that this has a twist off. Let's just go ahead and kill the myth right now. Twist offs does not mean it's a bad wine, an inexpensive wine. It just means that the winemaker saved a little bit of coins on making a twist top. And it's better for you, because if you don't have a wine stopper, you can just put the top back on and make sure your wine stays fresher longer. All right, so you can see I don't have my sparkly glass today because I'm saving it for the wine that I was going to try with y'all, okay? But this is one of my favorite all-purpose wine glasses. I like it because it does have like that wide bottom part, and then it has the smaller brim. I'm sure those aren't the wine glass terminologies, but I'm an enthusiast. I'm not an expert, so I'm going to give it to you the way I get it. But it does have a little bubble to it. I don't know if that's just because of how it was poured. I don't know if you can see that. So see where around the rim it has a little bubble. So typically what I like to do, y'all know the drill, just because it's 2022, I like to look at it first, see. So I will normally do like the little tilt. And it's going to be hard to tell, but if you're trying to determine the age of the grape, it's a meniscus or like a halo that goes around the side when you tilt it. And typically they say the thicker it is, the older the grape is. Now this looks a little thin to me, so this could be a newer grape, but again, we don't know for sure. So the next thing I do to open up the flavors and the smells, I swirl it. And I'm getting good at swirling with my hand, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like when I used to swirl, that joint used to look like a seesaw. So you swirl it to do a couple of things, to open up the smells and the flavors, and as well to determine the tiers of the glass or the legs, which is this line right here. So this line right here will determine the alcohol content, the ABV. And so typically if it goes down slow, the ABV or alcohol content is high. If it goes down fast, it is low. Now this baby ain't moving. I'm nervous. Let me look at the bottle real quick, because I always try to determine, like I'm trying to build my wine knowledge before I look at the bottle. So I'm trying to determine, and this thing's still standing. Like my shirt say, you can just start seeing the legs or the tiers of the glass falling down. So this says it's 13%, which in my opinion is kind of high for a white varietal. So now that we have opened up, it smells really good. Like swirling it, and if you can't swirl it by your hand, I just always say put it on the table. You can't see the actual, but it swirls even better when you're doing it on the table. Let me see if I can put it on something so you can see. So when you swirl it on a flat surface, it swirls really, really easy. So if you haven't mastered it yet, especially you, if y'all are heavy pourers and your wine is like all the way up to here, make sure you swirl it on the table, because you don't want that wine to be all over the place. But I'm smelling, even before I put my nose to it, I definitely smell like green apples, pears. Let's see. Okay, so this is crazy. So what I'm about to explain to you, don't let it deter you, because these are just smells that kind of talks about what you're smelling, but it's not actually what's in the wine all the time. But I'm smelling like fingernail polish remover. Like it smells really acetone. So that could be like maybe the alcohol content being high. I don't know. Let's see what else I'm smelling. I'm definitely probably getting maybe like green apples. I don't know, I'm getting something. But I feel like it's going to be very, very acidic. So let's go ahead and sip. So we see, we swirl, we sip, and we're going to savor it. We're going to go ahead and add the fourth S on here. We're going to savor it. So let's go ahead and sip it. My mouth is definitely watering. No truer label than that label. And it's watering because I'm feeling the acidity or the tartness at the back of my palate or the back of my tongue. And that's normally like when you're drinking your wine, if you're trying to experience it, you want to kind of swirl it in the mouth to actually see how it tastes and feel on the palate. To kind of open up the flavors even more, you can do like a gurgling or a swishy kind of sound effect. And that opens them up, and then you let them go in the back of your palate. But on the initial taste, start to finish, on the taste, I can definitely taste like the underripe green fruits. And then as it hits the back of my palate or the back of my tongue, I feel that tartness of the underripeness or the acidity. And as it's going down, I can feel the heat of that 13% ABV. So if you're sipping on this wine and you just want to chill, don't overdo it, because at 13%, in my opinion, again, I don't drink wine to get drunk. I sip on it to have an experience and to just chill out and, unwind for the day. And then it just kind of adds on to my self-care. Like, I may not sit down and get a massage or a manicure. I may not, instantly meditate or just sit still. But sometimes just sitting back in your chair, smelling the smells, it's something about your senses that when you are enjoying wine, not drinking wine, when you're enjoying it, just smelling it and tasting it, it just opens up these other senses that lay dormant a lot, because we don't use our nose and our palate to really take in all the goodness of some of the things that we put into our bodies. It's like, ooh, that smells good, and you eat it, and sometimes you don't even really get a taste out of it. Same thing with a drink. Like, you be so thirsty, or you be so thirsty to turn up, you gulping it so fast, you don't enjoy what it actually really does. So that's something that I do. It's like I may have a glass while I'm cooking, and then I finish it up, because I try to keep myself to a 1 glass minimum. And typically I may fill it like about here a little bit, but I never do a full glass, because again, I just want to just unwind. Like, but if I'm just chilling and just sipping, I normally do it lower. I do it high just because I want to have enough to eat with my meal, drink with my meal. So I say all this to say, if you are a sweet wine drinker, then this is not for you. However, my recommendations always, anytime you're trying a wine, go to one of your local wine stores, see if they're doing tasting. Total Wine, they do tastings on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, typically like after work hours, so like 3 to 7, or the days, each day the times change, but it's normally like after 3 o'clock. Or if you're going to a friend's house and they say bring a bottle of wine, bring something that you're intrigued about and that you're interested in trying, but you don't want to invest in it and then don't like it and end up wasting it. Bring it so everybody can try it out, because at the end of the day, once somebody fills their glass, they're going to try to finish it. So you won't end up wasting all your money. I used to, back in the day when I used to have girlfriends over when I was single, we used to have, my apartment used to be the Honeycomb Hideout. Okay. We used to do, bring a bottle, leave a bottle to whoever's house we go to. So, somebody will bring something and then leave one. 'Cause it's basically just to kind of, re-up, drinking up the hostess, all their, libations. Okay. But yeah, so, doing something like that, I know with the vid and everything, you definitely have to be mindful about who you're being around. But if you have a smaller circle, do something like that, do a bring a bottle, leave a bottle type of situation. Somebody do a charcuterie board, or if you don't want to be fancy, a fruit and cheese plate. This will definitely be good with like some sweeter fruits, like a strawberry. For me, typically when I drink something that's more acidic, I like something that's either going to be a little bit sweeter or a little bit bolder. I definitely would probably do like a chicken or a light fish or even a salmon with this. Again, I'm not an expert, so my pairing options is what works with my palate, because I have tried like sweet wines and then try to eat something sweet with it and it was disgusting. But when I do something sweet, especially if I'm somewhere and they got sweet wine that I really don't care for, but it's already in my glass, I try to go for something that's salty to balance that out. And you know, come on ladies, y'all know we like sweet and salty. When it be that time, it's got to be a balance. Same thing with your wine. You want to balance it with something that's opposite, in my opinion. So again, today's wine is a Sauvignon Blanc. I apologize if I keep saying Cabernet Sauvignon, because that is my go-to. But I really do enjoy this. Will I add it to my wine collection? Probably, because I like to have a little bit of variety. So I can honestly say I have 2 Sauvignon Blancs that I'm enjoying. This one, and I will leave a card somewhere up in here for the other one that I tried. But I'm excited about next week's video because it is going to make my palate have flashbacks. However, we'll discuss those on that day. So if you have enjoyed today's video, make sure you give me a big old thumbs up, and as well go ahead and click that subscribe button and that notification bell if you have not already done so. And as well, if you have any wines that you would like for me to try for you because you don't know if you want to try them yet and you want to get my opinion, drop me your comments about those wines in the comments box, because I am creating a list, because Winedown Wednesdays is not going anywhere and there are plenty different winemakers that make different varietals. Some make the same. Like, hey, I can try about like 50 Cabernet Sauvignons. They're going to all taste different because depending on the winemaker, when the wine was picked, how old the grape was, what region they were harvested in, all that stuff makes a difference. And then whatever other notes they add to it, all that changes how a wine tastes. That's why I always say, just because you may think you don't like one thing doesn't mean that you won't like it by another winemaker. Like, prime example, the Cabernet Sauvignons and the Pinot Noirs by Maui. For my lovers of bold and sweet, it's a happy medium. Like, a lot of my sweet drinkers, when they've tried it, they're like, oh, I actually like this because it's not too bold or woodsy or oaky or anything like that. But that's a whole nother video. And if you would like for me to talk about how I got into wine, I'll be more than happy to do a video for that as well. Just drop that comment in the comments box and I will put that on my list of Winedown Wednesday videos to do. So as you're sipping your wine, as you're pouring it into your favorite wine glass, remember that wine is an experience in a glass. So until next time, loves, cheers.